Hello, it's Bethany, and today I'm so excited to share how I teach grammar. I finally have come up with a streamlined way. This has been years of teaching grammar in the Montessori environment. It's finally here and almost ready. I just have to put everything in the hub and then it will be ready for you to access. But it is my grammar cards and pages for lower elementary. Now, as you know, I have had my symbolizing cards forever, and I've used not forever, but since 2021, and I use these with the kids. Um, it goes through all the difference, as you could see on the side. It goes through all the different parts of speech and their symbols. And how I would do it is that I would give a presentation and then they would symbolize a card. I am not a fan of the Montessori grammar boxes. The colors don't match. It gets repetitive. Just not a fan. And I've always wanted to make a streamlined way to do that. But as you know, I was working on my scope and sequence, which is a streamlined way to teach everything in Montessori, all the topics, but these are actual materials I can use with my scope and sequence that follow that, and just in general for what it has. So as you can see here, I'll kind of give you the overview. I scooted that over a little bit so you can see. So I have a page, like a page for their work where they can like a record or like to record their work, like a page to write things down. And it goes through the 36 weeks in order. And I'm going to show you like what I teach when to which grades. It has those, but if you feel like you don't need like a page to record their work, you could also just use the grammar cards. They both have the same thing on them for the most part. So or these like are command cards. So it'll say like, okay, if it's like 114, like first grade, 14th week, and you don't have to follow it like that. I do. And I've been working on this all last year, and the kids absolutely loved the new way to do grammar. And this is for first, second, and third. It's so streamlined. It it's been a lot of work in progress, and it's finally showing up and been used with actual students, and it's so great. So I like to combine the command card with the page because we do have notebooks and they could write it down in there, but just having them put a page, I can three-hole punch it, put it in their binder type of thing like I do with the different other things we do. You can watch in other videos how I organize stuff. But then they have the command cards, but there's also layout cards as you see here. So these are all the different pronouns, subject pronouns, object pronouns, possessive pronouns, and reflexive pronouns, and then also possessive adjectives that are look like pronouns, but they're technically adjectives. So you can include those or not. I included them on the page. But also there's just not pronoun cards. I'll show you a clip. Maybe I'll insert it here. Here's example of the grammar cards. We're going to look at the verb grammar cards today in the different tenses. So we'll have the infinitive, the past tense, the present tense, and the future tense. Now, if you're following the grammar sequence, it's not in this order and it's not seen all together right away, but this is just so you can see all the different verb cards, even though I also have the ed and ing verb cards as well, but this is just for the basic tenses right now. For example, it says to play, played, play, and will play. And then we have to read, 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 will read. And then to walk, walked, walk, will walk. And I'll lay out the rest of them as I just talk about them. But the students can lay out these cards, and for example, when you just do the presentation, like let's say it's the present tense, you just take out the present tense cards, they can lay them back out. For this one, it's not super matching. It's just laying out which ones are which. They could be in a big pile, but when you do the individual one, it's just cards to have for your presentations. When I would give these presentations before, I just had blank verb cards and then they were laminated and then I would write on them with Expo, but I thought it was time to make them so I could just always use them. And if the kids can even add more to these ones by writing on them with their own verbs. So that's a lot of fun too. There's some irregular ones you could see, like ran doesn't follow the same ed or sat, and there's obviously some regular ones as well. Of it, um, I just recorded this actually with because the verb was the only one that I had at home with me at the moment. So these are infinitive, present tense, and future cards, and there's just so many cards. There's 57 pages in a document. I was reprinting some of them, and I'll show you that look like this because they got um, nice, and I was adding a few more things and topics. Um, so then I could give it to you, but it all looks like this. You cut and laminate them. You download, cut and laminate. It's so nice. And I'll show you um, the different pages now as well. So I'll just go through like the first grade ones. So here you can see is I call this the color one because if you can see in the corner, it has the symbol and this. So it starts with this, and I know a lot of our presentations start with the farm. So it's like you still do the presentation for everything. You just go down and see the different things. It's more organized for the student than them saying, well, what do I do? It gives them, and it goes through a few nouns, different noun things, and then articles. And these are the colored ones. I don't want to show you all of them, but there are 36 pages in here. And if you don't want to print in color for these pages, I also made them in like just black and white, and the kids can color in the symbols. I like using these ones because I like to color in the symbol when they're finished with the page and say, hey, I finished this, I can color in the symbol. But it's the same thing for both that and not. And then these are the actual grammar card pages, but these are like the command cards that you get that are kind of printed out like these, but they're big across the page. If you're getting, they're all at school, so I don't have them here with me for the summer, but it goes through, these are some of the cool ones. But there's still the 36 weeks. And I know some people don't get through the 36 weeks of it, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, it's really the system is, and how I do it is I just follow like where the kids are at. Um, so I on the page to see the product, I list out everything you're getting in this. So for first grade, it's basically nouns to begin with, and then articles, a noun, adjective, introduction. My favorite things for first years is the noun family, the noun family. I always have them cut out nouns and put them, I've done that for years and years, and then verbs, and then noun family and verbs, and then pronouns, prepositions, verbs, and then it goes back to review some stuff they've already learned, because I don't want to introduce the adverb um conjunctions and interjections too soon because some people don't show them to them at all, but I like to try to show all of my first graders all of them. And these are just like basic different things. And some people don't get to all 36 weeks, obviously with different schooling, but that's okay. And then for second grade, it starts with noun again, but it goes quicker. Nouns, article, adjective, because no matter when or how I teach it, it's the kids need to review every single year of these things. Verbs, pronouns, verbs, prepositions, adverbs. We're getting quicker through things, but with the second years, I really like to look at all the different nouns, and you could see all the different nouns, which is on the command card, it's on the page, and it's also in card form. You might have cards already in your classroom to use, and the nice thing about these cards is for every single color, like I can even show you. I also added these. This is obviously the conjunctions. There's blank ones. So there's a whole page of blank ones though. So the student, if you laminate it, you can write with expo marker. Now for the black, you might have to write with color pen, like the white color pencils. Although dark green does work really well for some reason on the black, but I believe it's dark green. Or like I remember orange kind of worked pretty well when it was laminated with the like dry erase marker. Um, I go through the pronouns, I mean the nouns, all the different nouns, and then I also go through pronouns with them, and then some adverbs, conjunctions, and then different things. Now, like everyone, there's a few pages that like all the grades have just at different times in the sequence, and that's like verbs and adverbs and act them out. It says you will need a partner for this work, so they like that one a lot. Um, and then for third grade is when I go through, here we see breaking up some more different nouns, and then the subject and predicate, obviously we know we have the work. I do like the subject predicate work, but I'm trying to also incorporate that back into grammar and not just into like the word study type of work. So they could see it both places. I still do both the Montessori subject predicate work, the sentence analysis, but then also it with the grammar. And then I'd like to do the verb tenses with third grade. I know you could do technically it whenever. This is just when I like to do it. But you could obviously follow it a different way. All the different verbs, and then um the different nouns, and then this I also do conjunctions with them, and then different sentences. And then this one's funny. You are now done with lower elementary. Write your favorite memories here, and then you can symbolize and stuff. But these are all pages or grammar cards like I showed with these ones. There's all pages that go with it. I just don't want to show them all. Or like this, all grammar cards. And if you truly don't like the pages, you could just print the grammar cards and use them. And also going back to my symbolizing cards, what sometimes I'll do is I'll pair a symbolizing card with a grammar command card. Like let's say it's a verb command card. It's like, okay, you do the command card and what the command card says, and then also you're symbolizing a card with it. So that's like one language work for the day. Or you could do like maybe a command card one day and then a symbolizing card another day for language, things like that. And then the layout cards. So I finally made these into actual cards, and that's what I'm kind of adding here because I've had blank of these, like blank ones of these in my class for years, and I usually just rewrite with the X mark, but I'm like, okay, it's finally time. I do the same things, just make cards for them. So for nouns, we have random nouns, which is what I had in my class to begin with. I just had some random nouns because one of my favorite things to do is you'll have all the different like color printouts of them and they make their own sentences, which is kind of like the it's kind of like, well, I guess you don't make your own sentences with the grammar boxes, but it's kind of like that, but they're in the correct colors. Um Honestly, it's worth it just for these layout things. But and then all the different nouns for the second grade stuff, the plural nouns, and then articles are pretty one, and then again, random adjectives just like pretty and funny things like that. Color words, possessive adjectives to go with that pronoun thing. There's verbs, there's random verbs, infinitive, present tense, past tense, future tense, to be, ing, past participle, and then you could use obviously the to be ones with the ing and past participle ones. For example, like is running, like he is running, and then you get that pronoun he is running, and then it's just a lot of fun. And again, they can write their own verbs and everything on these cards. Adverbs, no, question words, random adverbs, adverbs in time, conjunctive adverbs, which technically go with the conjunctions, but they look like conjunctions, but they're adverbs. Preposition, blank preposition cards, and then pronouns. This is one of my favorite because that's like my layout thing from above. One of my favorite ones I've done is the different pronouns because there's only so many pronouns. Really, there's like not in like nouns like or adjectives, there's like an infinite amount. With the pronouns, there's not an infinite amount. Um, Conjunctions, fanboys, coordinate. Oh wait, should be coordinating. Conjunction, that's okay. Subordinating, correlative, and then blank ones, and then interjections. We all kind of leave those. There's one page of interjections, and then just blank interjection cards for them to write their own. So when they're making all those cool sentences, that'll be so cool. So You can check out the link below. It still says pre-order because I have to finish making the hub and everything. Okay, so when you get and purchase, you'll see these are all drafts right now because I have to put all the pages in, but this is where your hub will be with all of your cards and pages for you to print and access everything. So you could make the login if you technically it's still on a pre-order, but it won't be here very soon because I'm gonna get everything up. It just I did these all last year and I finally got them um all situated and sorted for everyone else to use. So I hope you enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching. Again, everything's linked in the description. You could just see it parcellanguage.com. There's the symbolizing cards, there's the grammar cards, there's the journal cards, um, and my scope and sequence and maps that basically inspired me to make all these. I mean, I did all that work. I put and it works. I use it in my own classroom. Other people use it in their classroom. I have over 70 people that use my scope and sequence and maps. So it's honestly it's great. So thank you for watching and just seeing like a peek of how I teach grammar. Maybe I'll make more future videos of doing like first grade, second grade, and third grade and breaking it all down more than what I did here. But thank you for watching. Go ahead and click the link down below.